So how do you know if you have a good intuition or not? Can you practice to get better at it? Or is it a God-given gift? Can you acquire that over time, or do you have to just be born with it? I would love to share with you what I discovered so far. Hi friends, my name is Daniela and I'm a developing medium. I created this channel to basically share all the tools and tips that help me along my mediumship and intuition journey, and I'm hoping that it will help you a little bit as well. Welcome. Make yourself comfortable. I'm not here to change anyone's minds, to force anyone into different opinions. What I would say is just make sure that whatever resonates with you, you keep it. Whatever doesn't, just let it go. This is all based on my personal experience and what helped me through this development, because I always found it very hard to find accessible information about this topic in a way that is constructive and easy to understand. So that is my point of creating this entire thing. I'm hoping it's helpful, and yeah, let's talk about it. For the longest time, I always wondered if I had good intuition or not. I never felt like I did because it was always very scattered, never quite made sense. It was very faint. I was very unsure of it. So I've never seen any ghosts. I never had any paranormal experiences. The women in my family, they tend to have a heightened sensitivity to it, but it's also never something that anyone pursued before until two particular things happened to me. The first time I was watching TV and I remember getting this sense of knowing, like I just knew as a fact that that was gonna be the last Christmas we're gonna spend with my grandfather. I'm an illustrator, so the feeling that I got is I just have to do, like this urgency, like I have to do this drawing by Christmas to give to him, because that's when I go visit my family every year. And that's gonna be the last chance that I have to do that, because he won't be here the year after this. So shortly after this particular knowing, so that was around like summer, shortly after he was diagnosed with cancer, and he passed away within 7 months, which was very, very hard and very heartbreaking. So that was the scary part. It's like, how did I know? And then the following year, something similar happened where I was scrolling through Facebook and I just knew again, same feeling, like this certainty that my sister was pregnant, my older sister. I messaged her about it, just wondering like, what's up? Why is this happening? Trying not to put pressure on it because I wasn't sure if I was, we questioned those things. Where is this coming from? So she said, no, I don't think I am. And then the next day or 2 days after, she messaged me saying that she did the test, the pregnancy test, and it came out positive. So I knew that she was pregnant before she even knew herself. Those two moments made me question a little bit more about like, where did that come from? How did I know? How I was so sure about it? And what does this mean? Like, is this something I can control? Can I do anything with it? Can I work with that? Can I tailor and craft that or perfect or improve in that in any way? And how can I distinguish? Am I going crazy? Is this just a thought, or is this an actual intuition? And this is what took me to this journey that now I'm happy to share with you guys. And hopefully it can alleviate some of the questions that you might also feel over the course of your experience and journey through intuition and developing that as well. So after studying about it a little bit more, after those two instances, I found out very quickly that intuition is something that we all have. We are born with it, and we can choose to access it or not, to be attuned with it or oblivious to it, to bring it forward or to shut it down. And unfortunately, it's the life that we live nowadays, the system that we have in place, doesn't quite allow us, or it's not favorable for us to tune in to it, because it's all about distracting us or having us feel that what we need is outside of ourselves, when in reality, everything was always within. And it's the matter of tuning in and connecting with your deeper truth and your deeper self. And it is something that you can practice if you'd like. You don't have to, it's obviously a choice, but I've noticed that this tuning in my intuition has been a very meaningful path to me, and it resonates, and I feel great doing it. I don't do that as often as I could, to be totally honest, but I think it's a wonderful thing if we're able to listen to what our body is telling us. So for that, we got to be able to be more mindful, stand still more often, and practice the senses or bringing to the surface a lot of the senses for the hearing, for the knowing, for the feeling. If you're wondering, okay, this sounds really great, but how do I know if it's a thought or intuition? From my personal experience, when we have a thought, a lot of times that thought tends to be rooted into fear. If it is intuition, it's usually rooted in this sense of peace and just knowing, as if it's like a fact. So if you have a thought that causes you an unsettling fear or feeling, a restlessness within it, most likely that is a thought. An intuition comes in the sense of peaceful information. So it's a fact. You don't question it. If it comes with anxiety rooted into it, most likely it's a fear base. Most likely it's just a thought. It's not really your intuition. Intuition comes more in the sense of this feels out of me sometimes, and it's subtle. So we gotta be able to tune in. How do we tune in? If you like to practice your intuition or get better at it in some way, shape, or form, my suggestion would be making sure that we are feeling the feelings and sitting in stillness more often. Because for us to be able to attune to ourselves, we got to be able to understand and pick up on those subtle feelings. The way to do that is by sitting still and being mindful, and also recognizing the signs within our bodies. So there's a few activities that you could do if you're able to insert or put that in your routine that will help you tremendously into developing your intuition further. There are activities that you could do that require more physical aspect or more introspective aspects to it. The physical aspects would be doing yoga, walking in nature, hugging a tree, talking to your dog, hugging your grandma, so anything that allows your energy to flow and push your vibration higher. Those can be incredibly helpful and healing in a lot of ways, especially if you had a hard day. I would suggest doing that as much as you can, honestly. There's no downsides to it. And then the other way would be in conjunction with that, pairing that with the introspective exercises, which would include doing meditation and sitting in the power. And knowing the difference between meditation and sitting in the power, to me, was incredibly helpful. I thought that it was all the same. I'm telling you, it's not. So meditation is about sitting within. So you clear your mind, you sit in stillness, and then you connect within yourself. And you could do guided meditations for that. There's a lot of YouTube videos, channels, and Spotify and things like that you can access. If you don't want to do it like just with nothing around, having some sort of music can be quite helpful for that as well, or just someone talking and giving you the steps of breathing, paying attention to that. And it's all about sitting still and feeling the feels and allowing that for you to just be. Meditation is about you connecting with your own soul and standing still. And then also being aware of the feelings and sensations that arises in your body. While sitting in the power would be about sitting down in stillness, clearing yourself of all the things that don't serve you, which is similar to meditation in that way. But then we take a step further, which is then about us expanding our energy, raising our vibration, so we can then connect with higher energies. Spirit, that would be. And that could be spiritual guides, that could be the source, God, whatever word you want to use for that, or it could be loved ones, past loved ones. And that is basically what we try to do. So doing a little bit of both. You don't have to do that every single day, but if you want to get better as a whole of understanding what intuition feels like, you literally just have to feel more and be more present, which is not easy, I know. Even if you're like carving 1 or 2 times a week for you to do that, will already help you tremendously in your journey. And that also helps just knowing more about yourself as a whole, like understanding what are my triggers, what are my patterns, what are the things that help me calm down, what are the things that take myself out of my center. Being aware and knowing more about yourself is incredibly helpful. So meditation and sitting in the power are equally important. Sitting in the power will help you get more in tune with spirituality as a whole and connect in that sense out of you. Meditation will help you connect within yourself. So it's different. One is more within, the other is more outside, if that makes sense. Accompany with whatever exercises help you to move that energy, especially the everyday energy that kind of lingers around a lot of times when we have busy days, busy minds. walking the park, talking to our dogs, hugging a tree. Some people do journaling for that as well. And some people, which I haven't mentioned, but some people actually have dreams, which is another way that your intuition can come forward. So it's just about being aware and keeping a journal. If you feel things, if you have a sensation of things, you can write them down and see, will this happen? Is this happening? How do I feel about it? Keep it logged in. The more you sit in stillness and observe how you behave and how you react, the more attuned you're going to train yourself to be. So the easier it's going to be for you to pick up on the sensibilities. Just keep in mind that it's going to be different for every person. Some people that will come as thoughts. Sometimes people will dream about it. Some people will see things. And don't feel discouraged if your way is different than others. We all have our own different sensibilities and our different strengths. And if we want to get better at anything, it's about sitting down and putting in the work and doing the practice and being mindful, but patient and forgiving and gentle with ourselves in the process. This is not a competition. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. It's about you connecting within yourself and making the most out of your life while we're all here, you know? I think it's important to also point out that there's a lot of different ways that we can use our intuition. So we can work on that and develop that and get better and stronger at it. But also there are tools that we can use to help us access that. Tools such as tarot or pendulums, or some people read palm reading. Some people do tea leaves reading as well. I'm gonna put a list of options or other things, and it's just a few. I'm sure there's many other types. But the point here is to use those tools to better help you develop or go deeper into the meanings of what you feel and what could be expected. You know, just getting a feel or a sense of what is happening around you, but make sure that you are always very mindful and careful about what do you choose to share with others and the impact that your words can create on people's lives. Because sometimes people say things, if you don't filter, if you don't interpret that correctly, and if you choose to say, that can create such an impact in people's lives where that can become a trauma over time. So, and I've had experiences with that. I know many people that had experiences with that, negative experiences with people that use or said that they use their intuition in the wrong way, or just lied, you know. So make sure that if you are going to this path, do that for yourself and your own self growth first. And if you feel a calling into using that to help others, make sure that you're doing that in a way that is bringing messages of healing and love in a caring way. So be very, very careful about your interpretation and how are the words that you're choosing to speak, because that will have an impact in people's lives, and they can carry that for the rest of their lives a lot of the times as well. So that's all I have to say. Proceed with caution, but don't be afraid. It's a wonderful journey. I feel like it's really helpful to just get in touch with yourselves. Those tools are here to help us. Use that for the good, not in a harmful way, and it's gonna be fine. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you guys have any questions, doubts, concerns, please write it down. I'll be happy to share anything that I know, that I've discovered, that I've encountered through my development. I'm very excited to do this. I feel like there's so much that we can talk about, but let's do one video at a time and see how this goes. And yeah, that's it. Sorry for the tangent. This thing of making videos is very unsettling. I don't know how people do it, but we're trying. Bye guys, have a great day.